Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Welcome, friends, to the Spirit Essence Show. I'm Tara Diana, and I have my beautiful co-host with me. I have the lovely Jody. Give a wave, Jody. I have the lovely Nancy. And, of course, the beautiful Lizina. And most of you know who we all are. We are all psychic mediums. We all practice different modalities in the metaphysical and spiritual world. And the Spirit Essence Show is our way of coming together with a group of people and doing what we call spiritual chit chat. So we come together, we do an hour's worth of chatter back and forth, a little bit of messaging here and there, and it is interactive. So please feel free to ask questions of us, to join in the conversation, to express. We love it. It just keeps our energy flowing and the movement going. Ladies, how are you today, my girls, my co-hosts? How are you?
You're pretty good.
Yeah. Good.
Very good. Very good. Supercharged with the sun that came out. We had like monsoon this morning and now we have sun. It's good.
7/7 portal today. It's a 7/7, July 7th. Yeah.
It is a 7/7, 7722.
Oh.
Yeah, 7722.
That's cool.
What does this mean?
So it's energy alignment numbers. So it's the month before the August 8th Lionsgate portal. It's an energetic time of opening, right? So, and this is also the day that Michael Jackson chose to pass, to transition.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, my heart.
Yes,
my
he's
heart.
moonwalking in the sky.
He's moonwalking in the sky. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself that Nancy and I spirit scopes are floundering somewhere in YouTube energy. It hasn't managed to make it to the actual YouTube channel yet.
Purgatory.
Yes, it's in YouTube purgatory right now. So we're already on the flippin' 7th, and our spirit scope hasn't gone up there. But you know what? It should be up in the next few days. You know, someone's pulling it out of the YouTube universe, and we'll throw it onto our actual channel. And there's some great messages in there for you, for your sign. And I just wanted to throw that out there. But tonight, what we're going to talk about, and I want to lead in with this. And I chatted with the ladies a little bit before everyone jumped on here. I wanted to talk about energy work. So energy sessions, energy healing, and the word healing itself. Now, all four of us, and I'm looking at Harbinder and Marnie here, we all do a form of energy work. And that gets labeled under the word, the heading healing. And I was chatting with the ladies and I said, I really want to address this because I'm feeling a bit of resistance to the word healing, to representing myself as a healer, because I feel like that puts a really big expectation for those that don't know the kind of work we do. You know, if Lizina walked into me and I was a Joe Blow off the street, not into spirituality or anything, and I said, hey, what do you do for work? And Lizina says, well, I'm a healer. And I'd be like, oh my God, can you fix my arthritis? And Lizina would say, well, I can do such and such and such. But the idea of what a healer is, if you go back and you think about it, old school terminology, okay? If you go back and think about it, a healer is someone that can heal you, right? Someone that is saying, I'm a healer. Well, then what do? I heal. That's tricky. That's really, really tricky because what I feel for my own self, and I'm only speaking for me, the ladies are going to talk about this in a second, their feelings on this. But for me, the type of work I do, the chakra balancing, the aura clearing, the meridian grids that I work with, all of that stuff is a form of energy work. So I don't like to use the word manipulation normally I try not to use the word manipulation, but that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm using energy and I'm manipulating it to do what I feel that spirit feels. Remember, I'm just a channel. There's nothing special about me. There is, but there's nothing, you know, when I do the work, it is just, I'm the vessel, I'm the medium, right? It's me coming through, comes from a Black Panther, don't ask, we'll get into that some other time. Practitioner is an excellent word, Marnie's right. But when it comes through me, and I send that energy, I'm asking it to go places, right? I'm asking it to go to where I feel it's needed. Or I say to Spirit, you take that energy and you place it where it needs to go and let it do its work. Am I actually healing someone? I don't really know. My intention is to make them as comfortable and clear and open as possible. So the work is being done, whatever that work is, right? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But I can't actually say that I can heal anyone. Quick story before I give this to the ladies. I have many tattoo artists, and I have an older one, and he showed up at the church one day, and we were having this conversation, and he says to me, I'm in so much pain. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? He's like, I have this bleeding ulcer. And I was like, oh, really? And I am not, by definition, someone who goes around and says, let me touch you. Let me, if you're not feeling well, I may send you some nice energy, some intention energy, but I generally don't go up and ask to touch people or do anything like that. I don't go into their space. It's just not me. It's not who I am. I'll do it from a distance and I'll send it to them. But there was something, because I guess maybe I knew him, whatever. I said, hey, can I just touch your stomach? And he had this cute little pot belly, like he was having a baby. And so anyway, he's like, yeah. And so I put my hand on his tummy and I just sent the energy. I'm a Sakine healer. I have Reiki. I have, I've channeled modalities. I've got all this, but all I did was just said, here. Literally, Pam's trying to get in. Literally, I just said, here. And I put my hand out on his tummy and I stood there for a minute and a half. And I said, okay, which I always do. I take away the energy, give it back to Mother Earth. She transforms, transmutes it, sends it to wherever. And then I left him. Maybe we chatted a little bit more. I don't remember. And so the next day, I sent him a message to book a tattoo because, of course, I see a tattoo artist and I think I need another tattoo. So I had to send him a message the next day. And he says to me, I need to tell you something. And I said, okay. And he says, I was so sick after whatever you did to me last night. I was so horrified. I was like, oh my God. He's like, I felt awful. I was throwing up. I was like this. I'm like, oh, well, that wasn't the intention, I said. And he says, and I haven't felt anything in the morning since I woke up. I haven't felt a stitch of pain. I was like,
Channeling.
I was like, hallelujah. Thank you. I was like, thank you. Now, that's the only time that I've ever had that kind of reaction. I get a lot of, when I do my healing work, I get a lot of, I feel so much better. I feel good. I feel whatnot. But I could never personally feel I could say I could heal anyone because I don't believe I can. I believe I can set the parameters. I can get in there and do a little bit of work. Marnie and I had a great conversation about going deep into chakras and doing work. But I believe I can set up the scenario, and then whatever spirit needs and whatever you as a human needs can do the work. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can go around and call myself a healer. So I love Marnie, but I love Marnie's word, energy practitioner, doing energy work. I feel like that flows. Ladies, any one of you that feels like you want to jump in and tell a story.
So for me, when I started being interested in the modalities that I was in, like when you go to the fairs and things, like the fairs that I participated with you in, Tara, you had your healers, you had your readers and things like that. And it was, to me, it just seemed like a generic term, but the thing is, what I do is alignment and alchemy, energetic alignment and alchemy. That's what it's about transformation, and it's about personal development, right? Yeah.
I want you to explain alchemy. There's a word that does not come up very often in the spiritual realms. It might come up in our witchy poo classes, but alchemy.
Yeah. So alchemy is the transmutation of a baser, let's say metal, like lead, into gold. So back in the day, in the medieval times, and even back in the days of the ancients, transformation, alchemy was a part of everything, right? You take flour and you take water and salt, and you put it together, and there's an alchemy that happens when you bake it, right? You put yeast in it and it'll rise. It's a type of alchemy. So the work that I do is I work within your energetics, and I tune into all of your different fields. I tune into your guides. I talk to your organs. They communicate, right? And so I never know what a person is going to come in for unless their team has been communicating with me ahead of time, right? But they usually make me feel what this client or this person is requiring. So I don't call it healing. I always explain to the people that come to see me is that I work with a very high frequency of energy. I work with the very high dimensions. And so, and it's just not me, it's my team that takes me up there. That's one of my purposes, to be here, right? So what happens is when you decide to come and see me, when you've made that decision, you have communicated with the teams, right? The teams that help do this energetic work. And then when you do come into my energetic field, I set things up to be very high. And so you step into that higher vibration. And when you're stepping into a higher vibration, you can let go of density. And that density is also energy, right? That density can be things that you've been resisting in your life, patterns, beliefs, karmic compulsions, all of these things. And so when someone works with me, these things become a little bit more clear for them, because you're in a space. Like if you think about it, if you're looking at something and it's kind of blurry and you take a magnifying glass to it, that's kind of what happens in that sacred space that I'm working in. And then you're able to relax. And the feeling good after is because you've let go of all of this energetic weight, or you've been able to really hear what your liver is trying to tell you. It's like, please don't eat any more whipping cream, or please no more what is it,
Alcohol.
chicken wings or fried foods or stuff, right? I need a break. Your body is always communicating with you, and those are the things that I listen for and I tune into, and that's what happens. And so along with those things, there is alchemy and transformation and transmutation, because once you are aware of something, then as soon as you become aware of it, it's just like a snap, right? You get something, and energy begins to flow, because any blockage, energetic blockage you have is created by you, right? It begins with a thought pattern. It begins with it can continue with a belief that you've been brought into this world with, or from a past life, from your family, right? And once you understand, then what happens is you've dissolved the block and the energy begins to flow, because at the heart of it, my friends, we are all energy, right? We are perfect symphony of molecules, of atoms. We're made out of stardust and planets. That's all in our DNA. We're just made up differently, different ingredients. This ingredients will make a cake. This one will make a Tara. This one will make a Melanie. This one will make a Nancy and a Jody and a Tracy and a Marnie and a Binder and a Jenny and an Andrea and a Halia and a Pam and a Linda and a Christine and me. So for me, it's also about love. It's about wanting to be of service, right? And you hear that all the time. And sometimes it sounds hokey, oh, I just want to be of service. But yeah, I want to be of service. This is part of my mission, my purpose in life, to help people feel better. And so for maybe the first 40, I don't know, maybe 50 years, I have walked a path where I have learned and I have gained and lived through things, so that when I am helping people or I'm facilitating their alignment, their healing, because any healing that happens with me is you are doing that healing. I don't take any responsibility or any accountability for your healing. That's all on you. And when people phone me and say, hey, that was awesome, I feel so much better, and I'm like, thank you, you did a good job. So it's never the practitioner or the healer doing the work. It's the person who has chosen to make that decision to make a change. I can hear Michael Jackson, make a change. But that's what it's about for me, right? And yeah, feel free to chime in, anybody.
I was thinking, because I 100%, I love your work, even if it's me doing it. I love whatever happens when you do that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
But I also want to touch on, so I'm a Reiki practitioner, but I don't do that on clients typically. I don't feel called to do that, but I use it with my family. Like my kids have had so much Reiki in their life. Every time they fall down, I'm right on their kidneys. Boom, boom, boom. Don't get trauma. Bam, bam, bam. Turn off all that cortisol. Calm, calm. And it's wonderful. If you have toddlers, get some Reiki. So what I do when I do healing work, I'll talk about first what I was going to say to Lazina. What I love that you're saying is how it's up to us as a receiver to decide to make that change, that there's something to be done as the person coming as the healer. It's our baggage. We have to be at that place where we're ready to move through it and let it go. But I think it's almost like when you teach a child to ride a bike, even though they can pedal, they want you behind them for a while. There's something about holding space and creating a safe container and being that channel to allow the person to go through their stuff. And you were saying, and I think you touched on it beautifully with your guides, you vibrate so high and you bring the energy of your client up that everything vibrates off. Love that imagery.
Wax on, wax off.
All the wax off.
Yes.
So now myself, I don't do healing work at fairs and stuff. I only do very specific work. I like to unchain. I call it unraveling. So I like to work with a client around where they're feeling stuck, where they've just been hammering up the same message over and over. It's those unconscious thought patterns, those unconscious habits of our spirit. And a lot of time my clients have been doing the psychology on it already. They've been doing the mindfulness, the psychology, the journaling, the thought work. And then I journey and I go through to spirit and I untie whatever karmatically is there. And I usually bring them back a story. And that story helps them finish the letting go that they already started. So it's kind of like when I like to think of it as like we've got all the kind of spirit stuff happening around us, and we've got our like day-to-day muggle life here, and we're doing the work here, and then I go do the work here, and then together it cascades. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
So, but I don't do it at fairs because it usually takes someone to be in a nuanced place to be like, okay, I'm ready. I've been working on this thought form of, let's say, I am unworthy of love. And I've gotten out of all the relationships where I'm doing my codependencies and everything, but I still keep having this come up. And I'm like, okay, let's go get that out of there. Let's go find out where you pick that up karmatically, and let's untie you, because baby, you've done the work. Let's untie it. Let's finish the work. Let's unravel all that energy. So that's the kind of work I do. But I agree with you, Tara. The word healers, it's pretty loaded, hey?
It is. And you know, I love the way we're all talking, and Nancy's going to talk in a second, but I wanted to put something out here really quick too. Nancy and I focus on bringing loved ones in from the other side. I mean, that truly is a lot of what we do. That is our I don't know, we're a jack of all trades. We can do most any metaphysical work, but we are mediums at a whole, evidential mediums as well. And let me say this, and Nancy, if I'm overstepping my bounds here, speaking on your behalf, you know, you can virtually kick me. But when we give readings, when we bring loved ones in from the other side, or we bring guides in, we are doing healing work there as well. Healing in the
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think people forget that. So oh you just do mediumship, you don't do any kind of energy work? And I'm always like, but I'm like, no, it's all combined, it all works together. Because bringing that loved one in is a peaceful, most of the time. There's been a few times I brought someone in and all hell is broken loose in the room and we're like throwing up white light and all sorts of stuff because this person didn't want that person to come in. But everything is purposeful. There is a healing that is done, and we're just using that word. You know, I keep using it because I'm almost trained to use the word. There's an energy transfer that happens that brings us peace, that brings us understanding, that brings us clarity when we work in mediumship. And mediumship, anyone that's taking my mediumship mentorship program knows this, mediumship is the platform to do any work. You have to be able to connect to spirit, to do anything, to do any kind of intention work whatsoever. Nancy, what do you have to say on the subject, Boo?
Well, I'm trained in life force energy healing. I agree with you. My focus is mediumship. My focus is animal communication. It's all energetic connection. I agree with all the ladies on sort of the panel of hosts here. But I think, you know, it is very interesting because healer, heal thyself. When we're doing the work, we're healing ourselves. But I do want to touch on the word healing. My great grandmother used to heal with her hands. And I'm talking literal healing with her hands. She put her hands on my aunt as a child and removed ringworm. That is healing. That is powerful. I do not have that gift. But I do believe that a lot of that energy work has transcended time and through my ancestry has traveled down, and obviously through cellular, I guess, remembrance from my ancestors, I bring forth a lot of her knowledge. And so that's where I work from a lot of place with that. And because everything is energetically connected when we work in that space. So when I do a lot, and I don't do a lot of energy healing, I do choose to, with hands-on type healing, I choose to do mediumship and animal communication. That's kind of my specialty. But when I have done work with people, it's a lot like Lazina was talking about. I'm just sort of like the vessel. I'm bringing in their guides. I'm bringing in some of my guides. I'm bringing crazy German doctors who speak to me in German and I have no idea what they're saying, and they're doing the work through me. But I also use other things too, like crystals. Like I'm a huge fan of crystals. I'm a huge fan of plant energy and, you know, essential oils and stuff like that. And I had someone say to me once about crystals, well, what if it's just a placebo? Well, like, what if there's actually no healing qualities in a crystal? Who cares?
What?
Who absolutely cares if that's the case and someone believes and it heals them? But I'll tell you something. I took a piece of, I believe it was rhyolite. You put it on a bruise, leave it there, tape it on, and you'll see that that bruise is healed exactly where that stone sat. So you can't tell me energetically that it's not working. Again, everything is from energy. So that's kind of my 3 cents on it.
I want to touch on your placebo effect. So
Yeah.
my whole job, you all know I'm in science, right? And I work in a lab and whatever. So when we're doing trials, not only do we have the placebo effect is so potent that not only does the patient have to not know what it is, the person giving the medicine can't know what it is. So if it's a placebo effect, nope, I'm happy to provide you with that and to abolish whatever is happening in your life. Because I think the placebo effect is a human wanting to heal.
Yes.
I really think, this is just me, I think that the placebo effect is the human soul coming back into homeostasis and back into equilibrium and breaking through whatever ideals we are holding on to. Now that's just me, but I mean, if it wasn't so powerful, we wouldn't have to have double and triple blind experiments to prove that Tylenol works.
Exactly.
It's a choice, right? They're
Right.
choosing to believe. You're making a choice and you're committing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if a client wants to come to an energy practitioner and an energy worker as a supportive aspect of their chronic condition, and you know, like hugs make people feel better.
Yes.
Oh,
So a
yeah.
hug from a human
Smile.
being,
Yeah.
right? So a hug from a human being who is channeling angelic energy or in that high vibration, if that's what you need,
That's what you need.
It's what you need.
I am happy to hug you.
You know, Jody, that brings me to something. This
Okay.
was many years ago when I was doing psyche work, and I had yet to really fall into my intention work. So everything is intention. Spirit and I hadn't had that conversation where, you know, let go of all these notions, Tara, and just let me do what I do, and you just tell me what you need, and I'll come through. So, and this woman said the strangest thing, and it's not strange now. Now I get it, but when I was in this place, it felt a little odd. And she said, we did all this energy work, and she walked away from me, and she turned around, she came back, and she was kind of giddy. She was like smiling and kind of giggling. She says, this is literally what she said to me. I don't know what the fuck you just did. She says, I don't know if you did anything at all, but I feel so damn happy right now. I just want to say thanks. And she just walked away from me. I don't know what the fuck you did. And I was like, we have to put a PG-13 on this one, this YouTube. You'll be stuck in purgatory for hours. But
Live
anyway,
Thursday.
and I thought to myself afterwards, yeah, I don't know what I did either. I just trust. And that brings me
such a good word.
intention.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the word about intention and intention work. And, you know, Lizina and Jody both said, Nancy, that we are just the vessel. We are truly just the medium and just a medium, yes, because I'm talking about our vessel, our body. We are just the place. And you know, that's not to be taken in a light way, because not everyone can do this. Everyone can do this, but not everyone should do this. And not everyone wants to do this. There's a whole lot attached to it. And you have to give up a lot of preconceived notions to be able to do this work. You do. You have to be able, and you have to trust like a mofo.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to trust, and that is the biggest thing when my students come and sit with me. I see Marnie, I see you. But that is the biggest thing when people come and take any kind of workshop with me, and I'm sure the other ladies who teach all have seen this, they can't get past themselves. Is it really me? Is it really me? Am I really doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's never really you. You're just the vessel. I gotta stop saying just now that Rose said just as bad.
Yeah, really.
But it is. I mean, that's how I see it. So intention setting is your key.
You know, I was reading at Serendipities one day. I was people were coming to see me, and I had a client that came in, and she had just come in from her lunch break, and she said, I got stung by a bee. And I'm like, why are you limping? And she goes, and it stung me on my foot. And I said to her, and then all of a sudden I had a obsidian wand, this one, but it was obsidian. And I said to her, hey, just if you have a few minutes, hop on my table. And I got her to take her sock off, and I was just guided. I didn't even think about it. And I was just rolling this on her bee sting or wasp or whatever it was. And the swelling started coming down, and we were just siphoning it with the crystal. And like Tara said, I didn't even question it. It was like second nature. Okay, grab your wand, tell her to take her sock off. Just do this, right? And her swelling went down. She wasn't limping when she went back, and I was just happy that that came through and gave her some relief, right? I mean, what we get to do is amazing. I'm like, we get to do this. This is so awesome, you know, to help a fellow human being feel better, right? To help you lift that dense energy or walk away skipping. It's so awesome. Our friend Nancy got into some goof hit her in her car just before we were having one of the fairs that Tara was holding, and Tara was running down the street in her 4-inch boots, and we were all ready to just take out the other guy, but we didn't. And then Nancy was there, and we're just like, okay. And we just, you know how Tara says, can I touch you? We didn't even ask her. I was in her back, Reina was in her shoulders, and every in between all of the appointments we had, we just kept topping her up, kept working with her skeleton, working with her alignment, and taking away inflammation and stuff. And she made it through the day. She
And
did
I wasn't
awesome.
sore the next day. I wasn't, it was, I believe everything that you guys did for me was amazing because it was detrimental to me waking up the next day, not having whiplash or being in pain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was still running back. They were healing her, and I was still trying to get back in the 4-inch heel. So it took me about 5 minutes to even get back to that.
And she looked good doing it. It was good.
She looked
Really nice
fabulous.
dream outfit. Yeah, it was really good.
The firemen were checking her out. Yeah.
It
They were,
was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
funny. Here I am running, trying to hold my boobs up, and oh my god. Anyway, but this is what you're hearing, guys. Is you're hearing individuals. We talk about being of service. Lizina brought this up, and not everyone that does this work does it for the same reasons that the four of us do, and Harbinder and Marnie and whoever does this work, Jenny, Christine. Not everyone does it for the same reason. And that's why when you come to something like the Spirit Essence Collective or anything that I'm holding or any of these ladies, it will always be with authentic people that come from their heart when they do the work. Because spirituality is a tricky thing. You can say you're spiritual until you're blue in the face and still do and have bad behavior and all sorts of stuff. So you want to make sure that the people that you are working with, especially when you are allowing someone into your personal space, your aura, that you are choosing someone that radiates. If you are second guessing even for a moment about the person you're about to have an energy session with, take a step back. That person won't go anywhere. You can always call them another day. That's why it's funny when people come to fairs and events like that, and they'll stand there for a few minutes, and they'll generally not know who to pick. They won't know anyone there. They've come in off the street. Maybe they saw a sign. Maybe someone dragged them there, whatever. And they'll say to me or to Dylan, poor Dylan, and they'll say to Dylan, well, who should I pick? Who do I want to go with? And I always say, well, first of all, what are you looking for? That's the key. So I listen to what they're looking for, and then I'll say, who do you see out here? These are the people that do that kind of work, okay? Who do you feel drawn to? And they'll pick one or two people. I feel like we have to whittle it down sometimes, right? Because they don't want to make a mistake. They want the best experience that they can have, and they don't want to make a mistake. But you always let them pick. You guide them to be able to make that decision, but you always let them pick. Why? Marnie, I'll get to you in 2 seconds. Why? Because it's theirs. It's not ours. And they have to feel it. I mean, we're doing the feels for them because that's who we are. We're empaths. So we're like feeling, we're like, oh my God, you got to go to Lizina. You just got to go to Lizina. You got to go to Lizina. And you're radiating it and it's coming out and you're trying not to do that. And you're like, well, you can pick between Lizina and Joe. I don't know who Joe is. And she goes with Joe, and you know Lizina would have been the better choice, but she goes with Joe. But that's her journey or his journey, and that's okay, because 9 times out of 10 they'll come back and say, "I'd like to try Lizina as well, please." That is how I met Nancy. That's how I got to work with Nancy. I don't care what anyone says. I was told to go to other people. I said, why not? I was doing it not because I needed readings. So I took the other people, and then I came back. I said, Nancy was the one I wanted in the first place. I want to go back to Nancy. Trust your gut. If you have to spend an extra $25, $50, whatever it is, go back and do what you felt. Trust your instincts. Marnie, what did you want to say, boo?
I just wanted to tack on to, I think Lizina had mentioned it. Somebody had mentioned about belief and deciding or choosing to believe. And I remember the last time I was in one of our sessions, one of these sessions, and I had said to everybody that I felt like I was 90% in and 10% out. I still had like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and just sort of working on my own stuff and working with all of you who's coming to the fairs, working with my group. I'm feeling more like I'm like 97% in and like 3% out. So yay! But it really helps having a supportive network, right? With all of, all the posse, I call them my posse. but it also really helps to sort of get out of your own head.
Oh yeah.
You know,
It's so hard though.
Yeah.
You know what Nancy was saying, what she brought up is that healer, heal thyself. Anytime, and this is what I've noticed in my healing life or alchemy life, is that anyone that I'm working with, there's something that I resonate with, right? Something that I've worked on. And in helping them come to that awareness and helping them, an awareness, when you are aware of something, that's enlightenment. That's like an understanding. It's like that, and you know what I mean? And the thing is, when that happens, it's like the exchange is amazing. It's not just like a monetary exchange. Like, it's like I don't know, it's like a video game, you know, when you get all those stars and you bing, 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 it's like, and your client or the soul that has come to you gets it or feels that alignment, and you can feel their energy is just humming, and you can feel that they're elevated. It's like the best feeling. It's so gratifying to be able to channel that, you know, and to bring that to people. It's such an amazing, yeah, starburst, such an amazing feeling. And so what I want to say to you, Marnie, is it's good that you're like 97% in and 3% out, right? Because we're still human,
Yes.
right? We're still human, and we are all a work in progress still. There isn't one healing that I don't learn something about myself or something that I'm able to use for myself as well. That's how spirit works, right? Okay, we're choosing to channel this through you, you know, mission impossible. This is your mission, should you choose to accept it, you know? But
That's
there's
a good way
always,
to say
right?
it though. You have to choose to do it.
Yeah.
You have to choose to do it, right? I mean, ask Tara. When I first started in the first development circle, Jody Ann was there. I was crying. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. And I was like the biggest chicken. And I'm just like, oh my God, but you wouldn't recognize me back then. I'm just like, right? But no, but look at me now, right? And so I'm so happy. And I call that rolling through the deep, rolling in the deep, right? With Adele, right? Like, and the mud and going through all that. But when someone becomes a practitioner, when they become a practitioner, I'm going to say for the right reasons, they've been doing their work, and you can tell if you can feel it. And then another thing for you all to know is you will sometimes be attracted to the energy that is required in your life at that time. You know, maybe this is the person that can give you this message and this frequency. You may rise in frequency and you may change healers, right? Because people are at different places in their life. And I want to say to you that that's absolutely okay, because we're all going to the same place, right? We're all want to be uplifted. We want to feel good, you know, and what is it? Party like it's 1999
Yeah.
So many songs references.
That's Prince.
We really are going back.
We're
Beatles,
on a
sorry.
Beatles thing in the chat, and we've gone from Michael Jackson to Prince up here in the bubbles.
Yeah, right. And so the thing is, when I see that, I just feel so good right now. I'm just humming, like I can feel the energy, like I can hear it, like humming. And it's Yellow Submarine. Yeah, right. I mean, it's and you can all feel what that feels like. And so it's such an honor. It's such an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be able to do this work. It really is. And all of you, like everyone, like Tara was saying, has the capability to do this, right? And everyone heals in their own way. Not everyone that possesses the healing vibe. Like I was told a long time ago, I have healing in my hands, right? And I'm like, get out of here, whatever, right? But I mean, it's energy that's coming through. And
we dragged her along.
She really did.
Yep. She just cried the whole time.
Yeah,
like,
I remember.
Tina, come and play.
Yeah.
And now look at you, how beautiful and amazing and inspiring you are.
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
it's been a good journey. Thank you. Sorry, Nancy.
I just did. I want to add to that too. And I want, not everyone like Tara said earlier, referred to earlier, should do the work or is meant to do the work. But understand that each of you brings healing to other people within your life every day.
Yes.
You might go to work and just pat someone on the shoulder and you've completely changed their day, you know, and that's something that's really important to remember. Someone said earlier, just a smile. Sometimes just a smile will completely change everyone's day. And that's, you know, we're all here for different reasons. We're all here to bring a lot of love and joy. And I know I tend to be a little bit unicorn and rainbows with the stuff I say, but it really is true. Like, it is one of those things that sometimes just a small little act of kindness does a lot of healing in people's worlds.
I was going to say, Nancy, just before you said that, I was literally going to say, what I get the most joy out of is when groups just come together. So at these psychic fairs, if you'll notice, I rarely read at psychic fairs. If I'm running them, I won't read at them because I have way too much fun and a little stress, so let's be honest, but way too much fun running around and being and introducing and talking and chatting and doing that. And I find that the vibe of that, I thrive in that. That is where I am just open and free. I have no expectation of the work I'm doing or anything. I just am rolling with it. And one of the things that comes with that is that ability to relax in it, to relax in that energy, to be, even though there's a little bit of stress going on, you know, someone doesn't have enough this and someone needs Kleenex and someone needs that. That's okay. Those are all things that are easy to deal with. Just have to do it quickly. But when you are in a space, I have never had a person that has, you know, come up to me and said, you know, I had a terrible time with you, Tara. This was the worst thing I ever had. And specifically in the last year or so, with the events that have been put on, the people that I associate with, I bring to the events, I'm hearing more and more, and I love this. I love being in the space. I love, love, love being around this. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for bringing Nancy. Thank you for bringing Lizina. Thank you, you know, for running this group. There's so much just in the fact of hanging out. And I said to Nancy and Lizina before, I said, you know what? Some of these events we do shouldn't be about getting readings. It shouldn't necessarily be about, you know, doing workshops. It should just be about getting together and just hanging out. But one more note on that, and Lizina brought this up, I think, last time we were chatting, is that to do some real work, to elevate yourself, there has to be some going back and taking a look at things. So things like the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is something that takes you to past, present, and future. So you can open up your Akashic Record, you can go to the past and see what was, you know, what you brought with you. You can look at the present and see where you're really sitting, where you are really sitting, not where your humanness is sitting, but where you're sitting soul self. And then you can look a little bit into the future, but you've got to do that little bit of extra work. And I find that's one of the hardest things. And ladies, I would love to get your perspective on this as a final kind of going into messages, but I really would love to get your perspective on this about people don't like to hear that they have to do some extra work. They really do want us to do the work for them. So some of them are unraveling, like Jody said, some of them are already in there doing the work. But the consistency of the work, when it gets hard, you'll pull back. It's a human nature. It's not anyone's fault. This isn't a personality thing. You tend to not want to go that deep. It takes a lot of effort. And if you don't have the right people around you to do that deep work, you get kind of thrown back. I mean, even myself, how many times that I've had to go back and redo it and back and redo it. And every time I come out with something more and something better. And, you know, pretty soon I'm not gonna have to go back. I'll know everything. But what is your guys' perspective on people doing their, I don't, you know, I'm calling it shadow work because but I feel like that's just an overused term and it's scary. I feel like shadow work can scare people to not do the work at all. So.
I don't know. I'm not afraid of shadow work because these four ladies know a lot about the last 6 years of my life, so they know why. Let's call it Phoenix fire work. Rebirthing work.
I love that.
Rebirthing work.
Well, except that I don't know. I think Phoenix fire is a lot romanticized because everything burns, even what you love.
Ends and
So-
beginnings, right?
But it is new beginnings and it's refreshing. I'm just gonna kind of spill a bit because when Marnie was talking, I was thinking I was so excited about where she is and this level she's at and how she's really owning her stuff. And then Lazina was talking about when she first started in our development groups and where she is now, and this whole idea of we get to this place where we explode and we bloom, but none of us have ever stopped, right? Like I felt like I was really in my power and really believing in myself 8 years ago. That is nothing compared to how much I believe in my purpose and my method today. And please, dear goddess, let me be more on target another 10 years from now. If I'm not doing that kind of work, I don't know, maybe that's just my path and why I'm here is to do that kind of style of work. And maybe that's why I'm in this position where I get to be on this awesome panel all the time and hang out with you all and mentor because I'm doing the work. Yeah, so I think it's kind of like the onion, right?
Mhm.
It's the onion peeling. And one of the things I was thinking of too when we were talking, and I want to maybe give you guys this nugget, and I think I'm kind of scattered, but when we're talking about how it's us who need the healing, how we're responsible for our own healing, as just like a practice, the next time you guys go to like any kind of healer, even not like a metaphysical healer, like when you go to your massage therapist or your chiropractor for your messed up neck, try inviting your guides that you do healing with. Because I do that when I go to my massage therapist. I invite my power animal and my healing guides, and I have them right under the table. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm trusting this person with these skills. Now you guys do the work while she's working on my body. Get that
love that.
energy out of there
Yeah.
while someone's manipulating my physical messed up shoulder. Get all the emotions out of there that are stuck in there, whatever energetically is keeping me there. While she's working, you guys do your work. And I know that family members of mine and friends of mine who've been in like chemotherapy type stuff, they'll imagine when they're taking their medicine that it is the most brightest, lightest, most amazing thing in the world. And it accentuates their healing, and they invite their healing guides in with them. So I just think about that when we leave here and you guys go through the next couple weeks and put it in our little spirit essence. Tell me what's happening. I would love to hear and continue the conversation, because I know you guys have all kinds of beautiful, nuanced things going on in your lives.
For sure.
Mhm.
And I think that's all I have to say.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
So everybody has a shadow. Your shadow will always be with you, right? And the shadow, you see the shadow when the light is shining on you, right? That is your forever companion. And what is in the shadow is being held there for you so that you can shine the light on it. You can turn to it and say, okay, let's work on this together. We are light and dark, right? And we are balanced, yin and yang. So people often get scared of the word shadow work because we've seen a lot of Steven Spielberg movies and things like that, right? And so it's about, I always say it's just me and my shadow, making friends with all of that. And just having the people that really go into the shadow work, that do the alchemy, the transformation, it's all about learning about yourself. That's what shadow work is. It's getting to know yourself. Why do I like this? Why do I behave this way? Why do I get triggered from this? It's all leading you to a root cause, a root belief, or something like that. And you're always in the driver's seat all the time. You're the one who is leading your healing path. That's why I think when we say we are healers, I heal myself because I am taking the time, I'm learning, I'm doing the work, I'm saying no, I'm saying yes, saying not now, whatever it is, right? I'm doing my work, and the shadow is always with me. It helps me create balance. So that's my $1.50.
I love that. Can I share a funny story about healing? Well, I find
Yes,
funny.
yes, yes.
So I was doing mediumship readings, and a gentleman came through, and he was a survivor from Auschwitz. And it was the first time I physically channeled someone I was reading. And I came out of the reading, and the person looked at me and went, "Oh my God." And my whole face was gone and my eyes were yellow. And I was like, this is the first time this has ever happened. What do I do? And the person said, "Eat a cookie." I'm like, I don't know what eating a cookie is going to do. So a friend of mine who was at the fair, who was a healer, said, come here right away with me. And I said, okay. So I went in, and she's a crystal healer as well. And she goes, lay on the table and we'll just sort of remove some of his energy from you. I was like, okay, this is great. This is when I first started years and years and years ago. So I'm laying on the table, and she goes, Nancy? I said, yeah. And she goes, you're going to have to tell your guides to step down, please, so I can do the healing work. And I just had to, because I'm like, oh,
Protect your guides.
Because I had just like, if for all of you that are in Tara's class, you've got your gatekeepers, you've got all your mediumship guides, and, they ran in that room with me, and they were standing there, and it was very entertaining. Needless to say, the cookie and the healing did help, and the yellow eyes and my pudgy cheeks came back, and my white eyes came back, and we were good to go.
When has a cookie never helped?
Right? I mean,
Like,
the cookie is the best.
When has a
My
cookie
go-to
never
is
helped?
chocolate. My go-to is
That's mine
chocolate.
too. I use chocolate all the time.
It's
my
actually a
soul
real
will stay
thing.
in my body after chocolate. It's like
Yeah, it's a
that.
real thing.
Gets rid of Dementors.
Yeah. Hey,
Which
Expecto Patronum.
Ladies, why don't we give a message each, and then we are at 8:01, so why don't we give a message each, and then we will close up the evening and let everyone have some time to themselves to process what we've talked about. I will mention, as everyone's getting ready to give a reading, we've talked tonight about a lot of things, and there is a one-day retreat happening next Saturday at the church. And I'm hosting it, and it is there's some of you are already coming. It is basically a full past, present, future. So getting yourself in order, looking at what has come with you from the past, seeing what the present holds for you, and then manifesting what you need in that future energy. And this is one of those events where it is just about being with the right people at the right time. We're going to celebrate with a dinner at the end of it, and it's in Burnaby. You can do it by Zoom if you'd like to. You can definitely participate by Zoom, but I'm telling you, this is one of those events that is just, it's easy because you're with the right people. So let's do some messages, ladies.
Okay.
Whoever's happy to go first, I can go first, doesn't matter to me. I'm watching Lazina's eyes shifting.
I don't want to choose a human tonight. Can someone just say they want a reading?
Yeah, someone own it.
Yeah,
Jennifer,
I don't want to pick you from my team. You need one, Andrea? I'll take Andrea. That's okay.
I need one. Pick me.
Now I have a Nirvana song in my head. A little different than Frank Sinatra.
Andrea met my husband today. That might be why she needs a reading.
Okay, and Andrea,
Odin.
I'm gonna grab a deck for you, okay?
I would love that. Thank you.
Like a fairy deck. Someone else is gonna read first. Like a fairy deck. Is that cool?
Oh, someone else can read first?
Okay, I'll take.
You gotta get the cards.
Marnie put.
Here goes Nancy. Here goes Nancy.
Marnie put her hand up. So I shuffled my handy dandy deck that is my favorite and my fellow animal lover. The card that came up for you is Dragonfly Magic. Okay, this card is phenomenal. This is all about embracing your transformation. This is what we were just talking about. This is spirit coming through, just saying, you know what? I am courageously embracing my journey. I'm putting one step in front of the other, and just leaning into the magic. Like magic surrounds you. Your aura tonight has just been glowing. Like you're on fire. It's awesome. And I can tell that you're just in such a really great place energetically. And I do feel, tapping into Kitty, that it's going to be just fine once we get that internal in there and get whatever is up there out. I do feel your sister is 100% accurate on that. We've already talked about that. But continue the healing work that you're doing. Okay. Because all of that, as we were talking tonight, the energetic work that you're doing with Kitty is helping a lot. And this card is a reminder of how magical you are. This is a reminder of embracing that 97%, that 99.999%. And remember that you're brilliant. Embrace that inner goddess, because that is exactly where you're at in this moment. And it's exactly what's needed by the world. Your magic. The world needs your magic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, can I leave that with you?
Yes, I will gladly accept that. Thank you, Nancy.
That's my girl. No. Nancy's
Okay, Andrea,
never
are you
needed
ready?
me.
Can I come to you?
Yes,
Okay.
sure. I just have to interject for a minute because the dragonfly is my totem animal, and after today, as some of you know, it's been a really shitty day.
Mm.
And I grew up in Ontario, and dragonflies are my thing. And they come to me all the time. And so to see that card from Nancy, I'm like, okay, I hear you too.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Because, you know, often when we're doing readings for everyone else, and Tara and I say this a lot in our spirit scopes, if my reading resonated with anyone else here, it's meant to. It's
Yeah.
absolutely meant to. So take the magic as well. Take it and lean into it. Thank you.
And Andrea,
Yes,
dragonflies are good luck.
I know.
So love Odin.
I'm buying it.
Lazina named my husband Odin, just so you know. That's who we're referring to when we call in
He
Odin.
walks by and you know, he's so stoic and like, he's like Odin, man.
Yeah, but Odin is also a very loving and devoted father, the all-father.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's who my kids work with, is Odin. Not your Mike, but like that God.
To be clear.
Sorry, Andrea?
I said I met Tara's husband today, and Mike was an absolute love.
He is.
Lucky to have him, Tara. And I'm still crying. Sorry.
That's okay. We're gonna keep crying. Okay, so I just felt like using this oracle deck that I never used with you. So, but I think it totally fits. So your first card is the Oaken Men. So
that's a cool
I work
card.
in the fairy realm, and what I will tell you is I've worked with these creatures. Okay, they're made of the trees and they're protectors. They're deep protectors, and they come when you call them. So please know at this time, even when you feel unsupported, they are there. It's very important for you this summer, even when the atmosphere falls and just seems to be like flooding our world, to go to the trees.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether you can get out to the forest or whether you're just in your yard, putting your hand on something or even a tree along the street, it doesn't matter. And just take that moment to breathe and connect and tune into that protection, because that protection has never left you. I really want to say to you in this moment that as a kid, you knew it was there.
Yeah.
You're among different trees, but it's the same keepers of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're there and you're not alone with it. You are heading into a time, you really are in an introspective time. You're really looking in, looking inward. There's a lot to uncover.
Yeah.
Okay. But you notice that even within the journey, you're being supported.
Well, I absolutely am. I have a beautiful support system around me.
On multiple levels.
Yeah.
And I want to remind you that you have this support system in these Zoom boxes. You have your spiritual support system, and you have deep family support system that understand you.
Yeah. Yes.
part of the journey is that feeling alone, because some of the things you have to uncover right now are so personal that we can't look at them. We can't look at them, what's the word? We can't really examine them with others around.
Right.
Does that make sense to you? Because we have to look at them like without the bias of other people. That's the word. Without the bias of others around. We have to look with our very vulnerable eyes, with the pieces of ourselves that we often don't show others.
That's what's that.
Because you are entering into the sage stage of your life. And really owning that. Really owning, like Harbinder says, been there, done that. I have more than the t-shirt, so don't mess with me because I know what I'm doing. There's this deep assurance and this deep, thank you. Out of this is going to come the kind of strength that the mountain stands with.
Wow.
That is why it's hard. You are shaking off a lot of old beliefs and you're so ready to let them go. They're going, thank you, friend, they're going to fall like cobwebs. You think they are armored to you, but they are going to fall like cobwebs. And it's not the work, it's the grief of letting go and forgiving yourself that is hard. And you deserve forgiveness. Absolutely, you would have done better had you known better in that moment, but you made the absolute best decision you could have possibly made. And the reason we know that, my love, is because you stand here and not at the end of the other roads that were before you.
Thank you.
You are so not alone. But it is a lonely space to be in.
Oh,
It
it's all
is.
good, Andrea. It's all good.
And I so hear that. Because it's the kind of work you have to do alone.
Yeah.
So go into it and then, like a dolphin, come up for air. Remember to come up for air and to find the joyousness when you can.
Yeah. And
connecting to nature. You're very good at grounding out in nature. You're very good at releasing into natural spaces.
Yeah.
It may feel, I'm going to go a little long. It may feel like you're not good at it only because what you're releasing is so damn big. It's big.
Well, I was saying in the comments, the Zena was supposed to do, I was booked with the Zena a few weeks ago. She had to step out and Marnie did work. And so with my session with Marnie, you know, she's like, oh, your throat chakra is really blocked and whatever. And I'm like, and my sister-in-law, I've been without my car for a very long time. We'll just say that today. And so my sister-in-law picked me up and I said, I had Reiki and, you know, she might get a bad headache and whatever. I'm like, I got FM symptoms. I feel okay. There's nothing wrong. Well, within 2 or 3 days of that, I kind of had this whole epiphany, and like the people that weren't able to show up 20 years ago when I've been hospitalized, I reached out to, I made some amends. My uncle on the other side had already talked to me through Tara before. I reached out to my best friend that I had lost when I was hospitalized in Ontario, and she was receptive finally. And Tara had said, it'll be a long time before you, and it was like a year. So I've done so much. And it's like Father's Day, I was like, I even reached out to Ireland's dad and said, you know what? Despite the shit that's happened, we made a beautiful daughter. And if nothing else, thank you for that. And he was the most receptive he has been in 10 years. Does stuff need to be where it is? No, but that is the greatest gift because I didn't expect that.
How about that weird thing that happened, Andrea, with us on the Zoom, where Angel sat down with me? And then I said, okay, Andrea. She looks over at the Zoom and Angel goes, oh my God, is that Andrea Schillem? And I'm like,
but see, Tara, Angel and I had been really good friends. And then she did a bit and I did a bit. And so she blocked me. So I think probably I would have been commenting, she might have been commenting, but neither one of us knew. And I had seen you had her on one of your shows and doing the Reiki and everything, her Reiki renovations. And so then it was like literally like we're looking at each other like eyeball to eyeball, and she's like, "Oh shit, is that?"
That's what she said. Angel's like, "Oh my God, holy shit!" And we're in the middle of the whole platform work, and I was like,
It's like that kind of stuff. Since Father's Day was around the same week that I had my session with Marnie and everything else, and it was just like so much stuff. And so today with the car and everything else, I'm like, you know, since we moved here from Ontario 30 years ago, there's been a lot of shit. And, you know, and my girlfriend Tracy, she's hiding here in the background somewhere. She's here. Tracy's one of those people that's been there for me nonstop.
"Hey, Tracy,
So say hi to Tracy because Tracy's there. She's hiding.
we can see her. She's not
And we see
hiding.
her. She's right here.
She's got a beautiful big fan looking. It looks like a big fan of peacock feathers behind her."
Is having this community even more so in the last couple months because we have been so stranded, and it's been like COVID all over again because I didn't have my car, having chronic pain diseases, not being able to take my daughter to baseball and that stuff. And so today coming home with the transmission is the other mechanic didn't even touch it, and poor Mike is like, I don't know what to tell you, but I know I've been through so much that I know one way or another, I have hope and I have faith that I'll get through it. I don't know right in this moment, but that is what's carried me for the last 30 years.
Thank you for sharing, Andrea.
Thank you.
And I'm going to be in touch with
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow.
Truly. Thank you, Jody.
Do we have time for one more?
Jody, if you have to go, sweetheart, duck out. We have two more
Dude,
readings to do.
I would love to stay. But I do have young children that are going to start, going feral.
Yeah,
Okay,
you must go.
Yeah, go ahead, Jody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. I love you all. Thank you,
Love you
Harbinger.
too.
Lizina, go ahead, sweetie, if you want to go ahead.
Tracy, may I come to you? So Tracy, I was attracted to you right away. This card came up for you. This is the Eight of Swords. This is from the Journey into Egypt deck. And what this card is, I don't know if you can see it. It feels like you have been playing something very close to the vest for a long time. And you've been guarded with it. Do you understand? They have the Lovers in this card, right? And it's about things that are close to the heart. It's about things that have been, you've been really safeguarding it. Do you understand what they're saying? And that you've done a good job of protecting it, that you have led with a lot of integrity. Do you know what they're saying? And so, and the next card that came up for you is the Drowned Man. And this card, the name Drowned Man may sound ominous, but what I want to tell you is this is a pillar, and it's a pillar of strength, and it's what you are. And you have been in contemplation about which way you're going to move, and you've been getting a lot of insights, a lot of support. Your guidance is all around you, and they're showing you in this card there is water, there is land, there is the pillar, right? And so the land is about that grounding, earthing effect, and the water is about all the emotions. And you have been able to navigate the emotions in a really graceful, elegant way, is what your guidance system is saying to me. And then you get this card, the moon. I love the moon. So this is an eclipse, okay? And they're showing the eclipse. It's the full moon cycle of Imhotep. Imhotep was a healer. This whole session is about healing. He was the first healer, human healer, they used to call him, right? And this is about embracing the energy of the moon, the goddess that is the moon. And it's about going into that shadow and just taking everything off and going into the water and allowing yourself to be one with what you're feeling, because there isn't a such thing as a good or a bad emotion or a feeling. You're meant to feel everything. It's through feeling that allows you to move through it and not over it or around it, but through it. And sometimes when you're just having that, you know, what you would call that ugly cry, right? There is so much healing that happens for you. Your tears, the salt, the elements that are in your tears, right? The salt, the water, right? There is an alchemy happening there. There is a cleansing that's happening. When you cry tears, my friend, they're telling me you are not just crying from your eyes. You are crying from your DNA, from your cells, from your ancestors. You are releasing for more than just yourself. And this is such a, and you don't give yourself those moments often enough, but when you do, you just open the floodgates and you let it all out, right? And they're saying to you, there is strength in vulnerability. You are always there for everybody else, always, right? And they're saying to you, you can put yourself first and nobody else gets left behind. There's enough of you, but you need to be the center of your universe. This is what you will teach your children. Do you understand? And this is what you reflect out into the world. And you know that this gets reflected back to you. Do you understand? And I'd like to give you one more. This is the Queen of Swords, a woman who has been through it all, who is mourning, but still has her sword by her side, right? There is a veil behind you, a veil that is just waiting for you to push it aside, because there's nothing standing in your way. It's when you're ready, when you say, I want to know, show me. It's as simple as that. And then it's like dominoes. It'll start. May I leave that with you, my friend? Great, great. You're welcome. I can't hear you, but I think you're saying thank you. Okay, okay.
Nice, beautiful
Yeah.
message.
Beautiful.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go ahead, you guys, and give the final message. Linda, I typed you out a message while Lazina was talking. And the craziest thing, Linda, is that as Lazina was talking, I felt like I was typing some of her words. I really hope you listened to Lazina's messages, because even in there, I'm like, the harmony you feel is going to be the good choices. It's exactly your time, etc., etc. I was like, oh, Jesus, I'm writing Lazina's message out for Linda. But so please, Linda, read that message for you. I wanted to make sure that you got that. I'd like to go to Halia, please. She's my 16-year-old protege who I never get to really talk to, but she's taking my mediumship class. And she's doing it online because she is very busy at 16 with dance. And actually it was super cool because I saw her up in Whistler when Alana was competing. Oh, yeah. We ran into each other and I didn't get to see her dance, but she got to see Alana dance, and that was very cool. And Alana should be landing soon, so everyone give her some. She's had a very hard day, my boo, and she's very stressed, and her anxiety, and unfortunately all her pills are her anxiety pills, or in her like baggage that is lost. So she's having a moment. Hallie, I love you. I'm going to give you this. The very first card I got for you was crystals and focus. Okay, the second card I'm going to give you, I'm only doing two, is activation and wins. From the moment I met you, beautiful, I knew that you were going to supersede anything that I do. I just could feel it in every ounce of me. And I want to say to you that this is telling you to take the work that you're doing, all the work though. I don't want you just to focus on mediumship. You're 16, you need to experience everything. So I want you to experience everything, but I don't want you to lose focus of your metaphysical and your spiritual attributes. Do you understand? I want you to be able to continue to prosper them. And that's why, you know, you do the work that you do when you can do it with me. And I love that, because the wind card is taking away and bringing in. So wind takes away and brings in new energy, takes away what you don't need, brings in the new, and that's where the activation comes in. We're activating the new for you. We're activating what you're really all about. And you love the cards and you love the idea of mediumship, and that resonated with you. And I don't usually work with people building their skill set at 16. I usually wait until they've kind of hit the 18 and you know, got all this other stuff out of their system. But they're saying here, they're really saying to you, focus, gorgeous. Focus on what you want to build, and all of it. You have to have the human experience. So you have to have, you know, you go to, I think you said Taekwondo? Karate?
Karate, yeah.
Karate, okay. You go to karate, you go to all these things. All that stuff is all things you need to experience, because they will build your character. They will build your personality. They will build you up so that you can handle anything that spirit throws at you. Because sometimes spirit can be a little daft, and they can come through and they can put all sorts of stuff in your way, and you're like, you have to navigate it. But the way we can navigate it is through our human experiences as well. All that beautiful energy that we have to work through, the life experiences, they will help you sit with spirit when you need to. So my message to you is this: make sure you are doing your muggle work, you are enjoying life as a 16-year-old, dance, everything. Make sure that you feel when things are shifting and changing, and you acknowledge it and sit in that energy, gorgeous. I know that one day you're going to introduce yourself to the mediumship mentor group. They will all love it. Christine's in it, Jenny's in it, Marnie and Ro and Herbinder are all in it. So you're seeing their faces here, and they would all love to get to meet you one day, and maybe even consider coming to that retreat on the Saturday.
Yeah, I was thinking of going.
Yeah, I think that might be something that will really, really lift your spirits there. Beautiful. So I'm going to leave that with you. We're going to draw this to an end because we are so far over time. And you know what? This is going to be the longest YouTube video out there. But I just want to thank you all for participating, for adding your 2 cents in. I want to thank my panel, and Jody, you're included in this, for always being the beautiful souls and coming along for the crazy ride that is Spirit Essence. So much love. Oh, hello, Pussycatto.
Sorry.
Oh, butt right in everyone's face. We'll take a cat
Sorry
butt.
about that.
We love it. Next time you got to bring Pablo. I love my Pablo so much. I need Pablo socks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. On behalf of Nancy, Lazina, Jody, and I, we love you to death, and we will see you. We'll see you even if you're over on the other side. But we hope to see you at our next one, and I can't remember the date, but you'll see it up on Facebook or YouTube or
July 16th.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You said Saturday.
July
Right?
14th.
Oh, 14th. Sorry.
July 21st. July 21st.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Just let us know when we'll be back. You will see it on Facebook or on TikTok or on something. We'll find it. And give us all a follow and a like on our social medias, please. We would love to tell your friends about us, because the more we get to spread our loving messages, the more people get uplifted. We just trust. Okay, that's it.
Thank
Okay,
you. Tonight was a pleasure.
Thank
Good
you very
night.
much.
When-
Good night.
You're welcome. Be well.
Bye.
Mwah.
There's love and light.
Mwah.
Mwah.